In last week's parasha, Parashat Shoftim, says, Shoftim v'shotrim titen lecha b'kol she'arecha. That Am Yisrael has to put judges and officers in all of their cities. But Chazal explains to us that we also have to put Shoftim v'shotrim, judges and officers, on ourselves to limit our own yetzer, to put ourselves limitations on ourselves. If we know that we can't watch our eyes if we go to a certain place, then don't go there. If you have to go to a certain destination, go around the block, and so on and so forth. In this week's parasha, we see how, when it's not applied, how terrible the situation can be. And the Parashat Kititze says, Kititze lamilchama im al oivecha, that you'll go out to war against your enemies. Chazal says, who is the enemies? The enemy is the yetzer. So one of the ways that we see in the parasha is in chapter 23, verse 22, in Parashat Kititze, Sefer Dvarim, book of Deuteronomy. It says that when you make a vow to Hashem, your God, you shall not be late paying it. For Hashem, your God, will demand it of you, and there will be a sin on you. Meaning that when a person says, I'm going to do such and such, for example, I'm going to donate $1,000, I'm going to buy Aliyah, $1,000, $10,000, whatever the amount of money is. That's a vow to a Kadosh Baruch Hu, that every second that you do not fulfill it, you have a very serious problem. Unless there's already a prearranged plan where you already told them, listen, I'll donate $10,000, but I'll pay it over the next 3 months, over the next 6 months. It's prearranged. But if a person simply doesn't pay it, every single second that he doesn't fulfill it, he has a very serious sin on his hands. And the parasha says, Hashem will demand it of you. Meaning that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will send his own private collection on you, meaning that it'll give you problems in your life. Now, most people think that the biggest problem is the issues that we have between us and Hashem, but in reality, if you continue the parasha and you go to chapter 24, verse 15 and 16, 15, you see that this is really a problem between person and another person, where it says on a day, this is talking about hiring employees. He says, on a day you shall pay for his hire. The sun shall not set upon him, for he is poor and his life depends on it. Let him not call out against you to Hashem, for it shall be a sin to you. So here the parasha is talking about when you have employees, you have to pay them on time, because you do not want a person that depends on you paying him on time to ever cry to Hashem that he didn't get his money. He worked, he expected to get money. Whether you have problems or not, whether your business is doing good or not, that's irrelevant. He worked because he is supposed to get paid. He's expecting to get paid. No one works for free, and no one works with the consideration that if your business doesn't do well, that they won't get paid. Why? Because they're not partners in a business, they're employees. If they're partners in a business, then that's a different story. They know that there's a risk there. But an employee, a wage worker, always knows that the security blanket that he has is that if I work, I'm going to get paid. Whether there's a profit or there's a loss in a business is not my problem. Now, here we see that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is even just as strict as he is when you break a promise to Hashem himself. Meaning, he says, don't let the situation get to a point where this person cries to Hashem because he doesn't have money. Why? Because then HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself has to take revenge against this person that's not paying, this employer that's not paying, making his financial situations even worse, to such an extent that you see that it could literally cause the entire business to go bankrupt. It could cause the person to lose everything that's dear to him. Now, worse than all of this is that it's considered gezel, it's considered stealing. So long as he's not paying back his employees, he's not paying his employees on time, it's considered like as if he's stealing it from them. Now, if the person in his mind says, okay, and I'll just pay them back next week, I'll just pay them back next month, I'll just pay them back next year, whenever, I'll keep them around but I'll pay them back eventually, meaning he has good intentions. The only problem with that equation is the fact that he doesn't really have any guarantee that he'll live to see that day. Why? Because so long as he's an enemy of Hashem, he's living on borrowed time. So that means that if HaKadosh Baruch Hu sees the sin is too great, he's not paying good people for a long period of time, Hashem could literally take his life. Now, what's the problem with that? The problem is that no person could ever enter Gan Eden if he has even a single dollar that he's stolen in his life. Even if he fulfilled all of the other mitzvot, even if he kept Shabbat, and he kept Tarat Mishpacha, and he kept kosher, and he kept this, and he kept that, once he gets to Shamayim, they said, I'm sorry, sir, you cannot enter Gan Eden. Yeah, but I did all these mitzvot, I learned Torah, I did this, I did that. Okay, you did all these things, great, but you have blood on your hands. Another name for money in the Torah terms is damim, blood. Why? Because people spend their life, their blood, acquiring it. And Shamayim says, you have blood on your hands. And so long as you have blood on your hands, you cannot enter Gan Eden. Meaning that the person has to go back into life again, be reincarnated, in order to pay back the debt. And since we are in the days of Mashiach, no one can depend on reincarnation anymore. We'll finalize with a short story to just explain to people what this means. There was one time a Talmid of the Baal ShemTov that owned many horses. And the Baal ShemTov one day came to this Talmid and he told him, I want to acquire a horse. And the Talmid says, of course, for Rav, anything you want, just call me. I have all my ranch over here. You could, anything you want. The guy had hundreds of horses. And the Baal Shem Tov looks at one of them and he says, I want that one. The poor guy starts crying. He says, what's the chances that you're going to pick that one? I told you could have any one that you have, figuring there's hundreds over here. You pick something else. Please, Kvod Harav, not this one. The Baal Shem Tov says, I'm sorry, that's the one that I want. That's what I came for. I came for him. Because please, Kvod Harav, this is such a good horse. This horse, I don't even have to tell him to work. He just, mamash, he wakes up, he's ready to work. He wants to work more than I want him to work. All the other horses, you have to maneuver them, convince them, entice them. This one works so much, he's the best worker. Any chance you get any other horse? He says, no, this horse. Because listen, Kvod Harav, because of you, I love you. You want this horse? Here you go. It's my best horse. You can have it. Baal Shem Tov says to him, you sure I can have it? He says, yeah, 100%. He goes, okay, good. He said, let me ask you a question. Now that it's my horse, I wanted to ask you a different question. He goes, any chance that you know anybody that died recently? He goes, yeah, my dear friend David, he died recently, just a few months ago. He goes, oh, and there's David, he owed you money? He goes, yeah, shtuyot, Kvod Harav, it's my friend, I feel bad that he died, no big deal. He goes, yeah, but did he owe you money? He goes, yeah, he owed me a little bit of money. He goes, how much do you owe you? He goes, he owed me $100. He goes, now the $100, I mean, was important to you? He goes, listen, it's $100, $100, but it's not, it's my friend, I like my friend much more. He says, if David is in a situation where, I mean, right now he can't pay you the $100 back, I mean, you forgive him? He says, Kvod Harav, of course I forgive him. Of course I forgive him. He's my friend. He died. He can't pay me back. He died. He goes, no, but you forgive him, Amash, 100%. It's out of your heart. He says, Kvod Harav, I forgive him. I forgive him. I forgive him. The second he said to forgive him the third time, on the spot, the horse died. The guy's shocked. What happened here? The Baal Shem Tov says, I couldn't tell you, but I saw that the neshama of your friend is inside that horse. That's why I wanted this horse, and that's why I had to acquire it first. Because he came into this world as a reincarnation, as a horse, just so he could work for you until he pays you the money back, however many years it could be, to be worth $100. But now that you say you forgive him, he completed his tikkun and he can go to Gan Eden. This, Rabotai Kareem, is a common problem that people have where they think that they could just simply pay people whenever they feel like it or not pay them just because they have it. It's a mistake. It's a very, very big mistake. In Shamayim, our Torah Kedusha says that owing people money is a very, very big problem. It's a very big sin. If you have the ability to pay somebody, you must pay them. It doesn't matter whether you're profitable or it's convenient. If you have it, meaning you have employees, you have partners, you have friends, you have somebody, you owe him money, especially if it's a Yid, especially if it's a Jew. You owe him money, you have to pay him back. Yeah, but I don't have it cash now, so go sell your goods. Yeah, but if I sell them now, I'll take a loss. It's better to take a loss than end up going to Gehinnom. The point is, Rabotai, is that if you're going to have employees, you have to pay them on time. You must pay them on time. Every second you delay, you have a sin from the Torah. Every second, you have to make sure you pay people on time. Why? Because none of us are promised another second. Because all the plans we have, I'll pay them on Monday, I'll pay them next week, I'll pay them next year, doesn't always work that way. And I promise you, all the losses in the world are not worth coming back as a horse. Bezrat Hashem, this will give all of us some chizuk, especially before Rosh Hashanah, the Yom Kippur, where we promised to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that we're going to close all the loans that we have outstanding, all the debt that we have outstanding to our fellow brothers and sisters, and even more so, to fix ourselves moving forward. Kol Tuv and Hatzlacha Rabba.